Hello everyone, welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and we're looking at the Penderwicks At Last, Chapter 20, Goodbyes. Now, the chapter starts with a disagreement between Hitch and Wesley. Hitch is tearing at the hole in the wall that's between Alice's room and her brother's room. And Wesley's like, Hitch! Stop that! Hitch! Come here! But Hitch isn't listening, and he just keeps trying to get through this hole. And finally, he gets enough to stick his head out. And that is how Lydia and Alice wake up. The rest of it gets pretty sad because they remember that Hitch and Wesley are leaving. They quietly get their shoes on. They go out. And Wesley has a motorcycle, so they have to push the motorcycle down to the bottom of the property. And there, Wesley gives each girl a gift. And it's a little wooden figure of Hitch. One Hitch has like his helmet on, and the other one, the chicken is on his head. They're getting ready to leave, and then Lydia's like, she feels something, and she looks, and she sees Batty running down the street with no shoes. And Batty gets to Wesley and she says, Wesley, thank you for all this stuff, and goodbye. And Wesley says, you're going to be very happy. And Batty's like, what are you talking about? I am happy. And he's like, yeah. And then Batty's like, wait, when? What? And then Wesley just turns on his motorcycle and drives away. And Wesley doesn't look back, and Hitch doesn't look back. And the girls are just crying as they all leave. But Batty says, don't worry, because we can go back to bed and start the day over again. And that's what the girls do. They go back to bed, and they don't wake up until Natalie, Alice's mom, comes in and wakes up the girls and says, oh, are you feeling sick? They're like, no, we just woke up early to say goodbye to Hitch and Wesley. Mom looks through Alice's closet and finds that Alice has no dresses, no shoes, and they need to go shopping. So Lydia has to say goodbye again to Alice and Natalie, if just for a minute. While she's walking back to the property, Mrs. Tifton appears behind a tree, and Lydia's like, Miss Tifton, is that you? And then they start talking, and Mrs. Tifton was trying to convince Jeffrey to marry this other girl, but Jeffrey said no. Mrs. Tifton's friend comes in a car, and they start talking, and then they start comparing Lydia's hair with her hair, because that lady had gotten her hair dyed to be like the same color and style as Lydia's, which Lydia thought was really weird, but they compared it for a while. And then they start hearing this beautiful voice singing through a speaker system, and it's Batty. And Mrs. Tifton's friend thinks it's really beautiful, but Mrs. Tifton is pretty angry, and she's like, let's go. And then they leave, and Lydia says another goodbye. 3 in one day. And that's how the chapter ends. There weren't that many vocabulary words in this chapter. It was a pretty short chapter. The first one is draped. And that is kind of like if you have a towel and you just kind of throw it and let it lay on something. That's kind of draped. It's kind of put across. So maybe we can imagine Hitch being in the sidecar of the motorcycle and Alice just putting her body across him, just kind of laying down. Tentatively, this means like cautiously or shyly. She's dancing, and she's dancing a sad dance, and she's kind of, it's like a shy movement, tentatively dancing back up to the house. Imitation being a form of flattery. This sentence I thought might be a little hard to understand because, well, first, imitation is copying someone, and Mrs. Tifton's friend copied Lydia's hairstyle. And so if someone copies you, they must think you are worth copying. So you must be pretty or talented or something. And so when someone copies you, that's kind of like them saying, whoa, great job. I want to do that too. And so we can say imitation is a form of flattery. The next one is stoically. Oh, and I think this is the last one. Stoically means without showing pain or hardship. So even though Lydia has had a really bad day saying goodbyes, and then she had to talk to Mrs. Tifton, she's still waving goodbye until the car leaves, not showing her pain or how hard it has been to be hanging out with Miss Tifton. But then she leaves and she can continue on. Discussion question I have for you is, oh my goodness, I always forget to type the discussion question. Has anyone ever imitated you? Or have you ever imitated someone else as a form of flattery? Maybe you didn't mean to do it as flattery, but you saw someone do something and you're like, oh, whoa, that's cool. I'm going to do that too. And you just started copying them, imitating them. Or someone might have done that to you. Has that ever happened in your life? What was it? And how did you react? And of course, please write your own discussion question. We want to know what you're thinking about as you read the story. Write it in the comments so we can prepare an answer for it. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.